thick and grey, the sea nudged half-heartedly at a breakwater and fiddled idly with a few pebbles at the water's edge. He stood, looking at the water. Towards the west, the sun showed itself briefly for the first time that day, just to paint a few garish colours on the clouds before it set. Behind him, lights were coming on in the houses. Christmas Eve. The shopping rush over, holidays begun, families together, children getting excited. Curtains closed, locking the light, warmth and love into the houses, and locking him out. Darkness came trickling along the sea wall and piled up in the corners. A mist began gathering on the water. And still he stood there. It was all so bloody unfair. After all, he'd worked just as hard as the others. He was just as good as any of them. It wasn't his fault that he looked a bit different. At first he tried not to mind the jokes. He'd even joined in with them and clowned it up. And he'd never let it interfere with his work. But the jokes had never stopped, and they'd begun to wear him down. Maybe if he'd let them know how much they'd hurt, they would have laid off him. But it was too late now. The boss hadn't really been nasty. Fundamentally, he was a nice old man, and it was a difficult organisation to run, especially at this time of the year. And he was right. Resorting to drink wasn't the answer. If anything, it made the blemish look worse and made him even more isolated. Teamwork. That's what the boss had wanted. To be effective, you have to work together, play together, be a team, the boss had said. And I can't afford to have someone who doesn't fit in, and that's why I have to let you go. And so, here he was, alone, friendless, no work, no prospects, forgotten. The mist had thickened into a fog that laid clammy hands on him and built a wall around him and increased his sense of loneliness. Dew settled on his hair, and the cold reached through to his bones. And still he didn't move. A sudden gust of wind made a hole in the fog. There was a distant shout, and he heard footsteps running towards him. Reluctantly, he turned his head. Thank goodness we found you. We've been searching everywhere. The whole thing's falling to pieces. The Met Office has let us down. Backup equipment is packed up. It's crunch time, and we can't deliver. You're the only one who can help us. The intruder paused to catch his breath. Look, he said. The boss has admitted he was wrong. We can't do without you. We need you on the team. He's desperate. Here, thrusting forward a piece of paper, he sent you a personal note. The tears that suddenly filled his eyes prevented him from reading any more than the first few words. Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide our sleigh tonight?